My name is Memory. I'm from Zimbabwe. I visited the UK 12 years ago for a family holiday, and that's when I tested HIV positive. I wasn't expecting it. I just thought I had a cold, but it turned out to be HIV. So first it was a shock to get an HIV diagnosis while you're on holiday. I had a son and a good job back home, which I just left on hold to visit here for, just for Christmas and a few January sales to go back, with my things. So it was a bit of a shock. I had been in a relationship with somebody that I had known for 14 years, somebody that I trusted. So condoms were never discussed in that relationship. And it was a bit of a disappointment and shock to actually realize that, you can never trust everybody or trust anyone when it comes to having unprotected sex. So I probably learned the hard way. There are several issues that stop women from asking men to wear condoms. First, for some women like myself, okay, I was independent, I had a good job, I could look after myself, so I really didn't depend on anyone in terms of someone taking care of me. So in that case, it's just a case of being naive and not knowing that, you can get HIV through. I mean, I knew, but I trusted the person I was going out with, so that's one thing. But there are lots of other women out there who are in a very different situation from mine. There are women who solely depend on their men for their survival. They have no income, they have no education, or they have little education. There are mothers who have to be at home all the time looking after their children, and they have no other means of empowering themselves rather than depending on the men for everything. So for them to ask a man to suddenly change his ways becomes very difficult in that relationship. So because of their less empowerment economically, they have to obey, in a way, what the man says. If the man doesn't want to use condoms, it's very difficult for them to ask for a man to start using condoms. And some of them are in long-term relationships. So say somebody has been with their husband or partner for 5, 10, 15 years. How do they introduce condoms? Suddenly, how do they introduce condoms? And in an African culture, the women are not supposed to carry condoms. It's unusual for a woman to be the one carrying the condoms, because you are seen as a whore, or you are seen as a loose person, or a person of loose morals, or your husband will think you're probably going to sleep with other men so that you don't give him children that don't belong to him. So you want to use condoms. So I mean, it's very disheartening that women have to depend on men for that. And then there are young women as well who ask for favors from older rich men. Those older rich men, because of the age gap, the older rich men are just used to having sex without condoms all their lives. And these young women, because they are probably just trying to get out of poverty, they find what they are known as sugar daddies, because they provide them with all the luxuries in life that they can't afford. So the only way they can pay them is through sex, and any kind of sex that man demands, and usually it's sex without a condom. And some women, probably because of actually being HIV positive, have already got low self-esteem. They will think, if I don't have this person, nobody else will have me. So they will tend to just do what the man asks. And it's just a case of being, unempowered, having low self-esteem, economic injustice, if I can call that. And then, of course, of their gender role as women, they're meant to be obedient and submissive to their men. Because as women, because of our gender, we are meant to be, in a way, lesser than men. In some cultural settings, you can't challenge your husband. You can't challenge the man you can't challenge the man who's looking after you. So obviously I have no power. So there's already inequality in that relationship because this other person is more powerful than you. So I can't go and ask him to start using condoms. You go and ask me, why do you want me to start using condoms now when you've not been using condoms all along? And after all, your survival depends on me. You have no money to buy food for the children or look after yourself. All the money that you have in this house is my money, so you have to do what I say. I think if Motif could come up with a gel that prevents HIV, that would be the best news of this of the HIV epidemic, because the women can be able to use the gel discreetly. They don't have to ask for permission to use the gel. They can just use the gel before they have intercourse, and they can probably be something that they don't have to put in the fridge or have to hide or be something quite huge that everybody can see. And it will sort of give them that empowerment back. They are in control of their health and their lives. You know that, okay, whatever happens, at least I'm not catching anything. I'll still be able to be looked after, but I won't catch anything from this man who has multiple partners. So I think it's a way of empowering women to take control of their own health, of their own sexual health, by having their microbicide gel. The invention of a microbicide gel would mean that women would be able to take control of their sexual health and prevent themselves from contracting HIV from unprotected sex. As a person living with HIV, I would like to see microbicides invented that are safe, that are accessible, so that they are easily rolled out to the people who really need them, whether they are men or women, and that they are efficacious, is that the right word? That they are, they really work, and that there's enough education around the community who they are targeted so they can use them.